Good evening, sports fans. This is George with Custom Tied Flies and Guide Service. This evening, I'm going to do a tutorial for you on the Deceiver. Lefty Cray made this back in the 70s, I think. It's one of the best bait fish type patterns around. It has a big profile, so it works really well. I tie them predominantly for the salt, but you can also build them for the freshwater. You can tie them on any hook. I usually make them anywhere from a 2 all the way up to a 3 or 4/0. I mean, it just depends on what I'm aiming at. So I tie this pattern in 2 stages. The first stage is the rear of the body, and then the second stage is the rest of it. And after I make these this rear body tutorial, I'll come back with another one to show you how to build the rest of it. So this is a Mustad 3407 saltwater streamer hook. It's 3407-DT, and I'm gonna put some .02 lead in the body. It's just lead wire wraps. This is Danville Flymaster 210 denier flat nylon waxed. See, I built me a little stopper right there, and I push my lead against it and it doesn't go anywhere. So I hold my lead up tight to it, and then I take some spiral wraps to the back, and then I put a little stopper in right there in the back, and that locks my lead in place. Run your thread to the back, right where the bend and the shank come together. Okay. Now, next is selection of your tail. The tail is strung saddle hackle. This is from Hairline. This one is pink. Now, you need to pay attention to this, because in this case, the thread is pink. The body, the overwing is going to be pink, and the tail is pink. On the other ones, I got chartreuse, I got purple, and I got yellow. And you need to match your tail, your overwing, and your thread. So you want to find 4 strung saddle feathers that look like that. I put them on my leg with the dull side down and the shiny side up. You see, I'm just fiddling through them, trying to find the one that I want. There's a good one. I don't want one that's got a lot of web. See how that one's got a lot of web? I don't want that. I want one that's a little more sparse, like this. and then 2 for the overflash. 1. Nope, a little wider. There we go. Two. Okay, so I have my feathers stacked with the shiny side up and the shiny side up. And I'm just going to marry them together. Now, some guys will tell you that you need to trim all this fluff off of here. No, I don't do that. Everybody has their own preference, but I don't do that. I'm looking for about 3 times the hook shank. Because when this is done, it's going to be 4 or 5 inches long altogether. I just kind of wet my fingers and pull those fibers apart. And I get me a couple of pinch wraps. You got to make sure that your feathers don't twist. That's why you put a thread base on the hook. Now I'm going to put some flash in it. So again, your flash matches your tail, matches your thread, matches your overwing. So this is polar flash. It's a shrimp pink. And I just pull myself off some. Clip that off the bunch. And then I measure this against the tail. I want it to be just a little shorter than the tail. See how that's just a little shorter than the tail? Okay. And I'm going to lash it on the side. Little pinch wrap here. Take a couple of them. All right, and then you can pull that other piece over, and again on the side, and then you trim that to where it's about even with the other, and then you can save that little clump because you can use that on another bug. In fact, I'm going to use it here in a minute when I'm done with this piece. Excuse me. And then for the top, see, some guys will tell you that this pattern needs 3 tail feathers. Some guys will tell you it needs 4. I like 6. Hey, you know what? You're the guy behind the vise. Tie it how you want. I like 6 because I like to make sure that that flash is down inside. Down under the feathers. Then I can trim this here off. A couple of big pinch wraps to kind of hold that down. Now the last thing, I go under the tail, over the back, under the tail, and then over the back. That way the tail doesn't foul. Once I have that all in there, I close it off. And then I paint it with head cement. You can use, regular head cement. You can use Sally Hansen hard as nails. You can use, some other, whatever other, doesn't matter. I mean, you can use super glue. I don't recommend super glue, but I mean, you can. Again, you're the guy behind the vice. Do what you want. Don't let anybody else tell you you're wrong. And there you go. There's the underbody of a pink Deceiver. So I'll be back in a few minutes, and I'll show you how to build the rest of this thing. I'll be right back. This is George with Custom Tied Flies and Guide Service. Happy tying.